Ram Ratna Bhushan, a fine motivator and guide to IAS aspirant, international motivational speaker, leadership trainer, CEO, coach, political strategist, and policy advisor. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. Be wary of the friends. They will betray you more quickly, for they are easily aroused to envy. They also become exploit and tyrannical, but hire a former enemy, and he will be more loyal than a friend because he has more to prove. In fact, you have more to fear from friends than from enemies. If you have no enemies, find a way to make them. This is the quote I've taken from the Power of the Book written by Richard Robert Greene. Golden Temple gets FCRA registration. The most important fact of today's source, the Hindu newspaper. Golden Temple gets FCRA registration. It is eligible to receive foreign funds. The Union Home Ministry has granted Foreign Contributions Regulation Act registration to Gurdwara Harbinder Sahib or the Golden Temple in Amritsar, enabling it to receive foreign donation. The Gurdwara is currently administered by the Shiromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee (SGPC), controlled by the Shiromani Akali Dal, one of the oldest allies of the BJP. Any association, non-government organization, or registered society require FCRA registration to receive foreign donation for a specified purpose. In the present case, the foreign contribution can be used by Sikh shrine for activities such as providing financial assistance to the poor, medical assistance to the needy, and organized langars, which serve as a free community kitchens. Home Minister Amit Shah retweeted, Sri Darbar Sahib divinity gives strength to us. For decades, the Sangat worldwide was unable to serve there. Modi government decision to allow FCRA to the Shiromani Sri Harminder Sahib deepens the connect of seva between Sangat globally and the Sri Darbar Sahib, a blessed moment. An agriculture-led revival is the flaw of the claim, the great agreeing of the China Jaishankar Wang hold talks. First face-to-face meet of the Foreign Ministers held in Moscow amid of stand. External Affairs Minister Jaishankar and Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi held the first face-to-face meeting in Moscow on Thursday to discuss the 4-month-long standoff at the line of actual control in Ladakh, which has seen violent clashes and even gunfire for the first time since 1975. The meeting took place on Thursday evening after the completion of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Council Foreign Minister meeting, as well as Russia, India, China trilateral meeting that both ministers attended. However, the outcome of the India-China bilateral meeting was not immediately known. Both India and China are in regular touch through diplomatic and military channels to resolve the situation, and this was the consensus when the two ministers said External Affairs Minister spokesperson Anurag Srivastava, confirming the meeting between Mr. Jaishankar and Mr. Wang. As we have reiterated several times in the past, India is committed to resolving the situation on India-China border through peaceful negotiation, he said. Through peaceful negotiation, he said. The next most important news is the great graying of China. There is evidence that country aging population will incrementally impede its economic growth. Incrementally impede. China's one-child policy (OCP) was conceived by a senior leader Deng Xiaoping in 1979 to seek popular support for the Chinese Communist Party after Mao's disastrous Great Leap Forward and Cultural Revolution, which led to the death of about 60 to 65 million people. Professor David Lampton, an American sinologist, has observed that the Deng was worried that if the party did not produce significant gains in per capita income, it would lose what little legitimacy it had retained. Policy fallout. The result of the one-child policy has been disastrous. Average birth rate in China has fallen to 1.6 birth per woman. National Bureau of Statistics of China in 2017, though the unofficial figures out as low as 1.05, United States 1.77, India 2.24, and much less than the population replacement rate of 2.1. Fewer children were born, and of them, fewer were females given China's preference for boys like in some other countries. Research by Professor Ye Fuxian at the University of Washington, Madison, US reveals that the proportion of China's population aged above 65 years would be increased from 10% in 2010, 32.6% in 2050. Corresponding figures for India are 5.6% and 14.2%, and the US 14.6% and 23.2%. Its labor force ages 20 to 64 will reduce from about a billion in 2017 to was 787 million by 2050. Thus, China will be a country dominated progressively by older people in the coming years. China will be a country dominated progressively by older people in the coming years. Despite the raising of their limit to children in 2016, the number of the newborns has not improved and slipped to the pre-2016 level. The one-child policy has changed China's child-bearing attitude for the worse, as many as young couples do not want to have two babies for economic and lifestyle reasons. Professor Fuxian has affirmed that China's population has started contracting from 2018 onwards. Local authorities in China bloat the births and school enrollment figures to seek more funds from the central government. If China can stabilize its fertility rate at 1.2%, its population will fall to 1.07 billion in 2050 billion in 2050 and 480 million by 2100. The implications: the aging population will have a multidimensional impact. China will need huge expenditure on the health, social welfare, pension, its wages rate will decline. A fall in the number of young people will lead to the decline in manufacturing export and also mean lower revenues for government. With its annual per capita income $10,000, increasing population of older people and growing economic growth rates, China will get old, more reaching the levels of the rich countries like the United States, Singapore, Japan, others. China armed forces are already struggling as many one-child policy children are often misfit for fighting to tougher conditions. Will the population decline create a richer society in China? Japanese economist Professor Hisakazu Kato says using Japan's experience that is unlikely as a smaller population reduces intellectual exchanges among diverse human groups, reducing chances of the emergence of the great innovators. Developed countries have reduced the impact of the declined population by raising the total factor productivity growth ratio of output versus cost of inputs per hourly basis. China has already availed its rapid TFP growth by shifting its large population migrant workers from agriculture to manufacturing. Reforms in state owned enterprise, housing, and other sectors. China's TFP grew by 5% annually in 1980s, 7% during 1995 to 95, 4% from 95 to 2000, 2% from the 2010 to 15 before declining to lower level afterwards.